Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to start the 7th chapter of class 11 physics, that is systems of particles and rotational motion. Let us discuss about some important points given in the introduction of this chapter. We will discuss about the concept of a rigid body, then translational motion, rotational motion, rolling motion, etc. First, let us see what a rigid body is. A rigid body is a body with a perfectly definite and unchanging shape. The distance between all pairs of particles of such a body do not change. That is, in physics, a rigid body is a solid body. You can consider this as a solid body in which deformation is zero or deformation is so small so that it can be neglected. The distance between any two points on a rigid body remains constant in time regardless of external forces exerted on it. We can consider the scale as a rigid body. We can consider this pencil as a rigid body. Okay, so here, but you see actually no real body is truly a rigid body. Because real bodies deform under the influence of forces, but in many situations these deformations are negligible, so we can consider these solid bodies like scale, pen, etc. as rigid bodies. Now, what kind of motion can rigid body have? What kind of motion can a rigid body have? Let us see that. Let us consider the motion of a rigid body. Here, the rigid body is this rectangular block. It is kept on an inclined plane, and imagine that this block is sliding down. Okay, this block is sliding down sliding down an inclined plane which is shown here without any sidewise movement. That is, the block has only sliding motion or translational motion. Okay, it doesn't have any sidewise movement. It has only sliding motion or translational motion. Now, when it is moving down the plane, all the particles of the block will move together. That means we can consider so many particles on this rigid body. All the particles have the same velocity at any instant of time in such a case. See, this block or this body is in pure translational motion. It doesn't have any sidewise movement. Okay, we can consider so many particles on this body. A particle is represented as a point mass. Okay, it has practically no size. So, consider one particle P1 here and consider another one P2 here. At any instant of time, the velocity of the particle P1 will be equal to the velocity of the particle P2. Here we have considered only two particles P1 and P2, but you can consider any number of particles here. You can consider third particle P3, fourth particle P4, etc. So, in pure translational motion, at any instant of time, all the particles of the body have the same velocity. Okay, all the particles of the body have the same velocity. Okay, if all the particles of the body have the same velocity, then the motion of that body will be pure translational motion. Now, let us consider the rolling motion of a rigid body. Here the rigid body is a solid cylinder. It can be a metallic cylinder or a wooden cylinder. Only a part of that cylinder is shown here. Okay. Now see, this cylinder shifts from the top of the inclined plane to the bottom of the inclined plane. So it has a translational motion. Okay, it is shifting from, or it is moving from the top part of the inclined plane to the bottom of the inclined plane. So we can say that it has a translational motion. But you see, here we have considered 4 points or 4 particles. Like we have considered 4 points here, P1, this point P1, this point P2, and this point P3, and this point is P4. Okay, we have considered 4 points of this body. These points P1, P2, P3, P4, etc. You can consider any number of points here. Okay, these points are not moving with the same velocity at any instant. See, this point P1 has a velocity along this direction at a particular instant of time. At the same instant of time, this point P4 has a velocity along this direction. Okay, and at the same instant of time, this point P3, its velocity, I mean this point P3 of the cylinder is in contact with the inclined plane. Okay, P3 is in contact, P3 is the point on the cylinder and it is in contact with the inclined plane and its velocity is 0 at any instant. Okay, the point of that rolling body, the point of that rolling body which is in contact with the surface, which is in contact with this inclined plane, that is P3, its velocity will be 0 at any instant if the cylinder is rolling without skipping. So, the motion of the cylinder is not a pure translational motion for sure. Because in pure translational motion, all the points of the body have the same velocity. But here, these points have different velocities. So, its motion is not pure translational motion. Its motion is translation plus rotation. Okay, that is, it is rotating along an axis which is called as axis of rotation. Okay, it is rotating about an axis which is called as axis of rotation. So, this body has a translational motion as well as a rotational motion. For example, if you are considering this as that body, it will be moving from this point to this point. Okay, so it has moved, the body has moved from here to here, so it has a translational motion. At the same time, it is rotating about an axis. You can consider this nib, no? You can consider an axis passing through inside part of this body. So it is, we can consider this body as rotating about that axis. So it has a rotational motion. At the same time, it is shifting from one point to another point. So it has a translational motion. Okay, now let us see what rotation is and what characterizes rotation. In rotation of a rigid body about a fixed axis, every particle of the body moves in a circle which lies in a plane perpendicular to the axis and has its center on the axis. That is, imagine an axis, imagine this as the axis, okay, imagine an axis passing through its center. Here we have a circular disc or something. Okay, we have a circular body, rigid body here. This is a rigid body, it's a rigid body, and this is a rigid body and it is in a circular shape, that's all. And we have considered one axis here which is passing through its center. Okay, now see, this axis is passing through the center of the circular rigid body. Now consider a particle here, this pink one. Okay, you consider this pink one as a particle which lies in this plane. Okay, that is, this plane is actually perpendicular to this axis. Okay, now when this rigid body rotates about this axis, okay, this rigid body rotates about this axis, then this particle also moves in a circle. Now you can see that when this rigid body rotates about this axis is fixed here and this body is rotating about that axis. So when this rigid body rotates about this fixed axis, you can see that this particle is also moving in a circle now. That is what I have drawn here using this green colored one. Okay, it will move along that circular path. Okay, so when this rigid body rotates about this axis, alright, the particle, the pink one, the particle also moves in a circle and the center of this circle now, the center of this green colored circular path now, that will be on the axis. Okay, that will be on the axis, that is somewhere here. Alright. Now, consider this figure which shows the rotational motion of a rigid body about a fixed axis. Here the body moves about this Z axis. So, Z axis is a fixed axis here. This rigid body, this blue colored one, this rigid body moves around about this Z axis. Okay, here we have marked the X axis, Y axis and the Z axis. O is the point, that is the origin of this coordinate system. Then, let P1 be the particle of this rigid body and it is at a distance R1 from the fixed axis, that is from the Z axis. Okay, then when this rigid body rotates, okay, that is the direction is marked here. When this rigid body rotates about this Z axis, the particle P1 also moves along with the body and it describes a circle of radius R1 with its center C1 on the Z axis. Okay, this circle lies in the plane which is perpendicular to this Z axis too. Now, consider another point or another particle P2 of the rigid body which is at a distance R2 from the z-axis, that is the axis about which this rigid body moves. Okay, about which the rigid body rotates. Alright, so here we have a particle P2 which is at a distance R2 from the z-axis. Alright, now when this rigid body rotates, this particle P2 moves in a circle of radius R2 and the center of this circle is C2 which is on the z-axis. So this circle of radius also lies in a plane which is perpendicular to the z-axis. Now consider another particle P3 which is on the z-axis, which is on the axis about which this rigid body rotates. Okay, for this particle, the distance r equal to 0, no? Okay, that is the distance r1, r2, etc. the distances of these particles P1 and P2 respectively from the z-axis, from the axis of rotation. But here, this particle P3 is on the axis itself. So, there is no distance between the axis of rotation and that particle. So, r equal to 0 here. Any such particle P3 which is on the axis of rotation that remains stationary while the body rotates. Okay, this point P3, this particle P3 is on the axis of rotation. So, any such particle which is on the axis, okay, you can consider a particle here, you can consider a particle here, you can consider another particle here. Okay, any such particle which is on the axis of rotation that remains stationary while the body rotates. Now, you see, if we consider the rotation of a ceiling fan, its axis of rotation is fixed. If we consider Potter's wheel, its axis of the wheel is actually rotating like this in this direction, but the axis of rotation, its axis of rotation is also fixed. Okay, in the case of a ceiling fan, its axis of rotation is fixed, and here in the case of Potter's wheel, its axis of rotation is also fixed, and it is rotating about a fixed axis. Okay, it is rotating about a fixed axis. But in some examples of rotation, the axis of rotation may not be fixed. An example for this kind of rotation is a top spinning in a place. Here we assume that the top does not slip from one place to another place and it doesn't have any translational motion. That is, the point of contact of the top with the ground is fixed. That is, this tip of the top is always in contact with this point O on the ground. Okay, this is the brown one is the top and this is the tip of the top. It is always in contact with this point O which is on the ground. Now, when this top spins, the axis of the spinning top moves around a vertical. Okay, when the top spins, its axis of spinning of the top moves around the vertical, around this vertical axis, here around the Z axis, through its point of contact O with the ground and sweeps out a cone as shown here. You can see a green colored cone shown here. Okay, that is, you can imagine this as the top, this as the axis of that top. So it will be moving like this. Okay, it will be moving like this. Its point of contact with the ground is fixed, but its axis is moving like this. Alright, so there is no straight solid axis. Actually, there is no straight solid axis through, inside the top. It is an imaginary axis shown here, okay, about which it rotates. Here, the axis of rotation is not fixed. See, initially axis of rotation is somewhere here. Alright, after some time the axis of rotation reaches here, after some time its axis of rotation reaches here, after some time its axis of rotation reaches here, so that it sweeps out, okay, it sweeps out a cone like this, a green colored one, okay, it sweeps out a cone like this. But you see, it doesn't have any translational motion because its axis of rotation, okay, whether it is sometimes its axis of rotation is here, sometimes its axis of rotation is here, sometimes its axis of rotation is here, but it doesn't have any translational motion because its axis of rotation, the axis of rotation of this top, at any instant it passes through this point of contact O. You just consider this part of my hand as the top. Okay, you consider this part of my hand as the top and let this as the tip of the top, okay, which is in contact with the ground. So consider the all part of this sketch pen. Consider the all part of the sketch pen as the axis of the top. Alright, so I'm just taking this point as the point O. So our top is here. My hand, you just imagine my hand as, you just consider my hand as the top, and you just imagine this sketch pen as the axis of that top about which it is going to rotate. And this is the point O. This is the tip of the top, and this is the point O. At which the top is in contact with the ground. Okay, now consider the tip of the, here the top will be spinning like this. That is, here the tip of the top, that is this one, the tip of the top is always fixed with O. It is not displacing from here to here or here to here or here to here like that. Okay, there is no translational motion. The tip of the top is always here, always in contact with that point O on the ground. But see this axis means the sketch pen. Okay, this axis is moving like this. Alright, axis is moving like this. It was initially here, after some time it reaches 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 here. It is moving like this. Its axis of rotation is actually moving. So in the case of rotation of a top, one point of the body is fixed, not one line. Okay, this line is not fixed. This line is actually moving like this, but this point is fixed. So this line of axis moves, but this point is always fixed. So axis of rotation always passes through this fixed point, but axis, that is the sketch pen, okay, axis of rotation is always passing through this fixed point O, but the axis means the sketch pen, it is not fixed, okay, it is sometimes it is here, after some time it is here, after some time it is here, like that. Alright, and another one example of this kind of rotation, okay, 1 minute, here the movement of this axis of the top around the vertical, the movement of the axis of this top around this vertical, that is actually, you can consider vertical axis here, and the top will be moving like this around that vertical axis, and this movement of the axis of the top around the vertical, that is actually termed as precession. Alright, and another one example of this kind of rotation is the rotation of a pedestal fan. Anyway, in this chapter, we mostly deal with the special case and the simpler case of rotation in which the axis of rotation is fixed. Now, let us consider the rolling motion of a cylinder. Imagine this as, consider this as a cylinder. Okay, please imagine this as a cylinder. Or it is a rigid body. We are considering the rolling motion of a cylinder on an inclined surface. Rolling motion, it is actually the combination of rotation and rotation about a fixed axis and translation. See, these two figures A and B illustrate the different motions of the same body. All these are the same body, okay, same cylinder. Here, O is actually the center of mass of the body, which we will discuss in the next video, and P is actually an arbitrary point on the cylinder or on this rigid body. Here, the trajectories of O, okay, the trajectories of O are the translational trajectories, trajectory 1 and trajectory 2. You can see the positions of O and P at different instants of time. Figure A, here you can see that O1, O2, O3 are the different positions of this center of mass O at different instants of time. P1, P2, P3 are the different positions of that point P at different instants of time. Figure A actually shows the motion of a rigid body or the cylinder, which is pure translational motion, okay, which is pure translation. Alright, now in pure translation motion occurs when every particle of the body has the same instantaneous velocity as every other particle. The path traced out by any particle is exactly parallel to the path traced out by every other particle in the body. In pure translational motion, okay, here in pure translational motion, the particles at O and P, that is at O1, P1, O2, P2, like that, okay, the particles at O and P of the body will have the same velocity at any instant of time. In pure translational motion, the orientation of OP that remains the same at any instant. Orientation of OP, you can see that these are actually the directions of velocities. Alright, the direction of velocity of this particle at this point O1 is along this direction, and the velocity direction of the particle which is at this point P1 is along this direction, and they are parallel to each other. Similarly, these arrows are actually showing the directions of velocities of those particles. One is at the center of mass O, and another one is at the point P. P1, P2, P3, etc. are the different positions of that particle at a different instance of time. That's all. Alright, in pure translational motion, the orientation of OP remains the same at any instant. That is, orientation of OP means the angle OP makes with a fixed direction. That is, here the horizontal remains the same. So here O1 P1, okay, this is O1 P1 that makes an angle with the horizontal line. So I am taking this angle as alpha 1. Okay, similarly here O2 P2 that makes an angle with the horizontal. I am taking this angle as alpha 2. And here similarly O3 P3, this actually makes some angle with the horizontal. I am taking this angle as alpha 3. So in pure translation motion, all these angles would be the same. That is, alpha 1 equal to alpha 2 equal to alpha 3. Alright, now see this figure B. It illustrates the case of a combination of translational motion and rotational motion. In this case, the velocities of O and P at any instance of time may differ. You can see that their directions are different here. Okay, this is actually a translational motion is there. Translational motion means the cylinder is actually changing its position. No, initially it was here, after some time it reaches here, after some time it reaches here. So it is changing its position. So there is a translational motion, and it is rotating. That is why it is drawn. It is shown like this. Okay, cylinder initially here, then it is rotating, it is rotating like this. Okay, it is initially like this, then it rotates, again it rotates, it becomes like this. Okay, so it's a combination of translational and rotational motion. The cylinder undergoes a combination of translational and rotational motion here. Alright, so here you can see that the velocity of the particle at the center of mass O1 and at the point here P1 are like this. And here you can see that the particle at O2 has a direction like this, and the particle at P2, it has a velocity which has a direction like this. They are different, no? Alright, they are having different directions. Alright, then when it reaches here, the particle at P3 is having a direction like this, and the particle at O3 is having a direction like this. In this case, the velocities of O and P at different instants of time, actually they may differ. You can see the directions are different here. Okay, and not that in this case the orientations of OP will be different. That is, the angle OP makes with the fixed direction that will be different at any instant of time. Here, see here O1 P1, it is actually along this direction, and here you can see that O2 P2 is actually along this direction. O3 P3 is actually along this direction. So the orientation of OP means the angle that OP makes with the horizontal, that is this angle. Okay, I am taking it as alpha 1. And here O2 P2 that makes an angle with the horizontal, this is. It is very clear from here, from these two figure itself. Now alpha 1 is not equal to alpha 2. Right, alpha 1 is the angle between O1 P1 and the horizontal. Here the angle between that OP line, O2 P2 is actually, we are giving different subscripts here to represent their position at different instants of time. That's all. They are the same points actually. Okay, we are considering the topmost point here. If you are considering the topmost point here as P1, then P2 is also the same point, but this is the point this is the situation at a different instant of time. That is why we are giving subscript P2, O2, then this is in another instant of time, that the situation of another instant of time. That is why we are changing that subscript to O3, P3 like that. Okay, actually these are the same points. If you are considering P1 as the topmost point of the cylinder, this is the topmost point of that cylinder. We just named it as P2 because this is a situation at another instant of time. That's why. Alright, so here O1 P1 that makes an angle alpha 1 with the horizontal, and here it is very sure no O2 P2 that makes an angle alpha 2 with the horizontal, but it is different no, because alpha 1 is actually the angle between this line and this line, but alpha 2 is different from that. Okay, so here and similarly in the case of you can consider this case or you can consider another instant of time, you will get the angles, you will get the orientations of OP as different at different instants of time. Okay, because this body is rolling now. That is, along with the translation, it is rotating too. Okay, it is if you are considering this as a cylinder, it is initially here. Then after some time it reaches here, after some time it reaches here. So it changes its position like this. That is, it is translating and along with it is rotating. Okay, it is translating as well as rotating. That is why we are considering that motion as a rolling motion, combination of translation and rotation. So here the angles alpha 1, alpha 2 and you can consider here an alpha 3 which is the angle made by this O3, P3 with the horizontal they all may be different here. Alright, so in this video, we have discussed about the introduction part of that 7th chapter, systems of particles and rotational motion. We have discussed about the translational motion, rotational motion and precession, and we have discussed about the rolling motion. And we have seen that the motion of a rigid body which is not pivoted or fixed in some way is either a pure translational motion or a combination of translational and rotational motion, that is rolling motion. The motion of the rigid body which is pivoted or fixed in some way is rotation. Okay, the rotation may be about a fixed axis or about a moving axis. I hope you understood this. Thank you.